Oh, it's got.
Greg's gonna get mad at me. More work for him. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And can we have the clerk please do the roll call?
Martin,
Present?
trustee Ruggiero,
Here.
trustee Brown,
Here.
trustee Machado,
Here.
trustee Hughes,
Here. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the minutes from the August 19th meeting. There's a copy of them in your binder. Oh, I think you guys all had a few minutes before the meeting to look them over. So are there any corrections or changes to be made to the minutes?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as sent.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving to abstracts for general fund, we have $66,337.96. Water abstract is
Yeah.
$49,115.79. Trust and agency, 300. And sewer abstract is $7,014.99. Is there a motion to accept the abstracts as read?
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Nick, I have to hand them to you for your signature. Thank you. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. And the first thing I want to start out with tonight is a proclamation declaring September 2024 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Whereas September is recognized as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, the proclamation was created to raise the visibility of mental health and proactive suicide prevention resources in our community. Whereas according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, more than 49,000 people die by suicide annually in the United States. And whereas each individual death by suicide having a far-reaching direct impact on family members, friends, service members, social media connections, we can assume that everyone has been impacted by suicide. And whereas the Village of Fishkill publicly places its full support behind those who work in the field of mental health, education, and law enforcement. And whereas help and support are available 24/7 from the 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Whereas we encourage all residents to take time to understand mental health through education and recognize the power of connection and support. You can bring hope for brighter days by reaching out. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kathleen Martin, on behalf of the Village of Fishkill, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2024 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. As the mayor of the Village of Fishkill, I also call upon all Village of Fishkill citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and the understanding of suicide, destigmatize it, and help connect people with the appropriate services needed. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the planning board. This was tabled from the last meeting. Planning board reappointments for Ezra Holly and Anthony Malella. This was tabled at the last meeting. And what I wanted to do with this at this point, because this has come up at the last couple of meetings, was to ask the planning board chairman to provide us with a list at the next meeting with the attendance records and the certification credits for, or continuing ed credits for all of the planning board members. For, let's see, this is September, so, let's say for the calendar year so far. So that we can have that information in front of us, I think, at the next meeting. So like, that's enough time, right? 9 months worth, I think. Can you pull that together for us by the next meeting, do you think? Okay,
As far as these two, as far as Ezra and Anthony goes, they do have the 4 credits
Mhm.
as of right now.
okay. So if you could just give us a list of all the current planning board members, how many credits they have, and, like the attendance records for like the last 9 months, I'd say, of meetings, that'd be probably good. Okay, does anybody else have?
I do.
Yeah, and I do as well.
So I think in one of the emails that you received, as far as the training, the secret process that we went through and the planning board went through, are they saying that you're saying that the county has approved us sitting in a meeting, going through a secret process as a training?
Yes, at this particular event, yes, because it was a long, it lasted like forever, extremely longer than any of the classes that were put on by the Department of State. And it was put on, the secret course was put on almost word for word, period by period, cross all the Ts. Then went through the entire process to make sure everything else was done.
So the only 2 people that were at that meeting was myself and Ezra. So I just want to make sure that there's no confusion, because that was actually the meeting we were just talking about. That was like the 4-hour meeting of the secret process. Ezra and I had never been through it before. So they introduced it to both of us, and that was a process. However, I still had my duties to get my credits other than that, because at that point, we weren't told that that was our credits. So I know I still went out and got credits as we were supposed to. So I can't see how being at a meeting and then going through the secret process, that counting as a credit. To me, that's, I don't know.
Well, we'll see when we get the documentation, what's what, who has what.
Well, that's what.
Well, where we left off last meeting, we were told that, Anthony Malella and Ezra, who actually has credits, Ezra does. Anthony, who did not have any, we were giving him the opportunity to obtain them by tonight's meeting. And now it seems like we're using the secret process that everybody sat through. Well, not everybody, Ezra and Danielle. Maybe he attended one of them, but he didn't attend both of them because it's saying there was 2 nights. Now we're saying that that was his training session, and it seems like that's a bit of an accommodation, in my opinion.
But why wouldn't you want to have the secret process count towards the training? I can tell you what
No, I'm not saying it should count. I do agree it should count.
okay,
I'm saying why that could have been brought to light at the last meeting.
well, that I agree with.
Because then some other of us on the planning board went and seeked our actual credits because we knew that the training was important to have that. And it was not made aware to myself or Ezra at that point that that was a training class. Now here we are months and months later trying to backpedal saying. okay,
No, nobody's backpedaling.
Well,
I just want the information so we can make a
we're
determination.
letting you know that that's what they're saying. They're saying that those meetings.
Right,
are-
well, that's what Cons was saying tonight.
Yeah.
So I just want to see everybody's credits, who has what training, and do they have credits in addition to that? Do they not?
So,
I think that's a fair ask for,
so when somebody, how is it determined what is considered training? Do you say, here's a list of classes? Or does somebody come to you and say, here's this class, do you count this? What's the process?
Process is like, for instance, I just sent out a notice, had a notice out today for the future classes coming up that the Dutchess County Planning Federation puts on. Also, as Danielle has got her classes through online, I think. And sometimes when you go online, you can see the classes, but they don't give you a certificate, a certification that you took the class. Now, as far as the secret process goes, I didn't, it just slipped my mind last meeting as far as that goes. Now, the reason I'm chairman of the Dutchess County Planning Board. And as the Dutchess County Planning Board, every time we have a class, It's like an introduction to the new program, which will be introduced to the county, different housing situations, something like that. And the county considers those training courses as well.
Do we also, or do you allow, I don't even know if I remember, but the New York Planning Federation, because they have online classes, do you permit that?
Pardon?
I'll take that as a no.
If the
The
county-
New York Planning Federation, so are we a member?
Yes.
Okay, do we allow that because there are online classes?
We always have.
Okay, well, that's good. And then do you allow, and I know we've done it in the past, and I actually encourage it to do it again. You've had Sarah do classes.
Yes, we have in the past.
So,
We should actually do that.
Right.
And that's what I was gonna say, at the last, one of the last meetings, you actually had, he said, why aren't you staying? I said, because I have like 45 credits. But we actually held a class then, so everybody, even zoning members came in and got credits.
Right.
So I think, what my concern is that when we have all these resources for people to go get
Mhm.
education and classes, and they choose not to, and then we say that a meeting that was never talked about as getting credit for is now giving credit, I think that people that are on these boards we're going to get educated ourselves pretty soon. I think it's important that people take the step forward if they want to be a part of this process and go and get the education and training on their own with these classes or with what Hans offers prior to,
Mhm.
not saying that a meeting is now a training class. That's,
Well, it sounds to me like there's a lot of training opportunities available for them. I'm just wondering, did they know about all these training opportunities?
I tell everybody, and it's sent out, our secretary sent out every time.
Okay,
County Planning Federation puts up.
okay, well, that's
In
good.
fact, I have here on October 22nd, is Luncheon and Learn webinar, Design Guidance for Better Buildings. That's a webinar from 12:30 to 1:30.
Mhm.
November 14th, now this is a hot topic, a real hot topic throughout the state of New York. Battery energy storage systems,
Mm.
6 to 8 PM, that's up to Kentucky County, Home Center. And then on December 10th is Lunch and Learn webinar, Contemporary Comprehensive Planning, that's 12:30 to 1:30. The one on the battery energy storage is a very hot topic because it seems to be that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of having these humongous batteries sitting around everything. But nobody knows how to deal with it when the proverbial shit hits the fan. Like when they catch fire, how do you put them out? You can't use water,
Okay,
so that's but they are getting.
well, that's, I think, the whole point of continuing education is as things evolve and change, so you can bring yourself up to speed on, whatever is the issue of the day.
and I think, Mayor, that was a good point that you made. There's plenty of
Yeah,
education, there's plenty of knowledge, there's plenty, they sent out emails all the time. So if you want to get your credits, I think that everybody should be made to go forward and get the credits. And he's even offered sometimes, he's like, hey, you
Right.
want to hop in with me? I'm driving up here. So there's plenty of opportunities to get the credits and the education.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Do you have to
Right.
physically go to classes to get
No.
credits? Are there enough
Yeah,
online?
there's
Right? You
tons
don't
online.
have to be physically present.
No.
Okay.
There's plenty of webinars.
Because people sometimes just don't have the time
Yeah.
to take to go somewhere at
No,
any given
there's
time
plenty.
when it's scheduled.
I think it's a
So-
lot easier today than it used to be to get your, yeah, you don't have to go to the Farm and Home Center. You can now take an online class. It's much easier. So, but that's, I think, that will put my mind at rest because this has been coming up. Like, if we can just get a list of where everybody stands, and go from there.
Sure. Hans, when did you find out that the seeker class was considered full of credits, so to speak?
I checked with Dutchess County Planning, they said that that would be allowed because when we offered the seeker pro classes of past years, it's put on by the Department of State. And that's just basically a textbook and check this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it is a long class, it's like 2 to 3 hours or something like this. What we went through was a really long period, extra long period. And it was definitely a training session because people there had never gone through anything this extensive.
And that's not just the class that you and Ezra were at.
So it was actually a planning board meeting that they went through the whole entire secret process, which.
Only one?
there was the second meeting, they finished the tail end of the secret process, but they went through the whole, it was just Ezra and myself, because we've never been through the secret
At the
process.
first one.
At the first one.
Yeah.
It was 4 hours. They went through the whole entire secret process step by step. Yes, I can understand you want to give us credit for it, but we were like doing our duties. We're at a meeting.
Right.
We're doing the secret process. We're partaking. I think that training should be, again, something you go to, something you participate in, something that
Right.
it's not, we don't say, oh, it's a because I was never told it was training until he actually just said it just now. And I went and seeked other.
Well, and it,
Well, he
and
didn't know. He
so
didn't know
the,
it was training.
Yeah.
He had
and the
to reach out
board
first.
members have a year to get their training, correct?
Right.
They do, but I would like to point out that, Ginny did get back to me and let me know that Anthony did not have any training at all for the year of 2023.
Great. Was he at one of the seeker
I guess he was.
He was.
My knowledge, yes,
this year?
yes.
For 24, but for 2023, he was appointed in May of 2023.
Right, but did he get that seeker, was that seeker class prior to May of 24?
No.
So it wasn't within the,
I'd have to look at the,
yeah, because I'm trying to ask it, was it within the 1 year?
yes.
So again, this will all be put to bed by, just if you could compile the information and, we'll have it all in front of us.
Okay, until they are replaced or replaced by somebody else, they are still members of the voting
Right.
rights of the board.
By law, yes.
Yes,
That's
When is your
correct.
next meeting? Is it the 19th? The next, is it the third Thursday?
third Thursday.
So the 19th.
19th.
Okay.
Okay,
And do we, as a board of trustees, do we want to discuss having any like sort of standard, like if there's 12 meetings in a year and somebody attends 3 or 4, I mean, is there any standards that we want to set moving forward? So.
yeah, I think we want to take a look at that moving forward, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, things happen. Sometimes meetings get canceled. Sometimes people get sick. We understand that. We're grateful to all of our volunteers. But if it's a, ongoing problem and somebody's never there, then, we would have to take steps to address that because there may be someone else that could serve and be present. So,
Take into consideration that sometimes the planning board meeting gets canceled itself.
right, that's
Yep.
what.
Not every, there
Yeah.
is 12 meetings in the year.
Yep.
But that's absolutely fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree with you on that. So we should take a look at that.
All right, so Hans, for the next meeting, or maybe email it to Pam earlier so we can look at it before we sit down here in 2 weeks.
I'll get together with Jenny, I have tomorrow, I'll get together with Jenny before the end of the week, have her compose something, get it to Pam, then Pam can get it to you.
Okay,
Yep, that's great. Thank you.
sounds good.
I don't know if you'll have it by the end of this week, but
Next week's fine.
Well, that's okay. Anything else on this? Are we good? Okay. Good. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is I'll entertain a motion to appoint Sean Casey to the Village of Fishkill Water Department. Paul has interviewed him and Paul and I have interviewed him and checked his references. He, is a very nice young man and seems to be a very good candidate for our water department. We've had a lot of guys retire, so we're bringing in some, newer, members to our team.
And Paul likes them.
Yes, he does, yeah. And, yep, he's been down to the plant, he's been given the tour, and like I said, he's been going through the interview process. So, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Sean Casey to the Village of Fishkill Water Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Sean. Welcome, and thank you for joining our team. Yeah, thanks, Sean. Okay. This is, so we talked at the last meeting about, I have to get used to going back to 2 meetings a month. I was getting used to that 1 meeting a month thing. But we spoke at the last meeting about the volunteer fireman's exemption. We passed that local law. Really happy about that. I know all of the trustees share my excitement about this, that we are able to offer this exemption for our volunteers. So what that led me to was looking at some of the other ones. And I would like to propose now, a local law to address the senior citizen tax exemptions, which is the, low-income senior tax exemption. And honestly, this has not been changed for, I'm gonna say about 17 years. So it hasn't been looked at, we were at one of the lower, this is all on a sliding scale of income. And if senior citizens qualify, they can reduce their property taxes by 50%. So it's a really valuable, savings that we can offer to our seniors. It is income dependent. So, it does have to be on your primary residence where you live, and it is for people that are 65 and over, and it is based on income. So right now, we are at the lower end of the sliding scale. And what I proposed is that we would go up to, let's see here, so the sliding scale, I think you guys will have a copy of that. So, oh, and another thing, for whatever reason, the village mirrored the county, even though the county just did away with this. But our exemptions used to only go down to 20%. What I'd like to propose is to bring it all the way down to 5%. So, if you look at the sliding scale here on page 2, so that if your income was, say, 37,000, you would qualify for 5%. It used to stop at 20%. So 5%, I think, is better than no percent for our seniors, especially today, when everything is so expensive. So this will, increase the amount of people that will be eligible for this savings program. It'll allow a lot more, savings for our seniors. And it will, like I said, allow more people to qualify for this program.
What's our current, scale?
We are currently, for 50% is 18,500.
Oh, okay, so we're increasing the income, not the percent.
We're doing both. We're
Okay.
doing both. Yeah, because, so for the income ceiling for 50% currently is 18,500.
Okay.
And, the maximum, so you can only make 24,200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it only went down to 20%. So that's pretty low, by today's standards. And the town has increased theirs, the school district has increased theirs. Most of the municipalities have increased theirs. And I think it's been a pretty long time, since this has been looked at, so.
How does this compare to the state scale? Do we have a?
There is no state scale per se. I have a list here I can pass around that shows all the other school districts and towns and villages in the county, if you want to take a look at that.
Like in the middle of it, is that?
We were the low. We were like the lowest, and now this will put us like in the middle.
But this is new, right?
No, we have this currently.
So,
It,
okay.
it's just that, you qualify, it takes a lot more to qualify. Like you have to make a lot less money.
This amount of money.
Yeah.
If anybody's looking at the
Right,
numbers.
exactly. That's, yeah. But so for a senior, if they can save on their school taxes, their town taxes, county and village, that's what's helping people stay in their homes. So,
So we're increasing the opportunity.
absolutely, yeah. We're increasing the opportunity and we will be increasing the savings for the people that are currently in this program. So.
Kathy, this applies also to people in domestic partnerships, because I noticed it says husband and wife.
It does. It would be owners, and only one owner needs to be 65.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you really want to get on the back, they have all the other. So the next step, if this is, the board is in agreement with this, the next step would be to set the public hearing. Okay.
So am I reading this right? So everybody else is between 5 and 10 and 20%? Is that correct, what this is saying on that percentage? And we
down
go-
to, yes,
we go up to-
everybody usually goes down to 5%. But a couple of municipalities in the county always cut it off at 20.
We're going to 50.
We're going to all the way to 5.
Okay.
It goes like in reverse. Yeah, it's like it starts at 50, 45. It goes like that.
Kathy, what do? They provide a.
They
tax
come,
return?
well,
How
they
do
would
they
apply
validate?
through the town,
Around to everybody,
because
whatever's-
we're not an assessing jurisdiction. The town does that for us.
Okay.
They would come in and fill out a form. It's a state form. And then they would bring in their tax return. Or if they don't no longer file taxes, they would then bring in all their year-end statements. Yeah. So,
Right. I asked Pam to scan it and send. it
okay,
to email, so that-
okay, great. Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to set a public hearing at the next meeting for the adopt or to talk about the low income senior, increasing the limits.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think this is gonna help a lot of people, so thank you, Greg. Okay, but I have more work for you. So once you start looking at them, you start looking at all of them. So we don't want to forget about our veterans. Okay? And yeah, the veterans also haven't been looked at in pretty long time, and we are very much on the low end. So this is the alternative veterans exemption. It's real property tax 458A.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to take a look at increasing that sliding scale as well. And I could pass this around too, if you guys want to look at that.
Kathy, can any of these things be compounded? Like, what if you are a senior citizen vet, so they can be
Yes.
compounded?
Absolutely.
And you're a retired volunteer firefighter all together?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Jane?
Yeah, hey, I mean, they deserve it.
It's not a cha-ching as much as it's, you can breathe a little.
Yeah, and they deserve it, so,
She's saying it was all three together.
Yeah.
It's all combined.
Yeah, and it's a win-win and deservedly so.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I think the veterans is good too to look into.
yeah, exactly. So that's an important one. This is the wartime veterans, the alternative veterans. And we were pretty low there, so I'd like to increase that one as well. So I'm sorry, Greg.
Is there a possibility you can, is
Yes, yeah.
there a possibility you could do those two together at this?
I don't think so, because they're different laws. I think we'll have to do them, yeah, separate.
Currently have a senior citizen, is that in our code?
We do.
So we do have to change.
We have to change the sliding scale. Yeah, and the percentage to go down to. But with the all, that's, it is a sliding scale as well. So we'll have to,
Right, so,
yeah. I'll give you,
yeah, something-
yeah, yeah. I like that because it shows everybody, like what everybody is, and then, you kind of look where you are and say, hey, maybe we're too low, or maybe we should take a look at this. So, okay, so for the next meeting, we'll talk about the alternative veterans as well. And then I promise I'll leave you alone. I'll give you a break.
She had
Yeah.
she had her fingers crossed.
Well, that's it though. It's, once you look, then you start, Okay, so thank you. And the only other thing we have here is the energy company. So in your binders here, we have this energy thing. This is for, and they've already done the like the quotes for us is what this is. This is this is like one of our energy carriers. They all work together like through Central Hudson and everything. And they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies they looked at, and they are recommending that we go with Constellation. because that's who came in the lowest again for the 36-month contract. Let me see if I have anything else on that, but I think that's about it. But this is through, Central Hudson.
The difference between a fixed offer and a capacity pass-through offer. Like, what's the difference between those two figures?
Let me look if I have anything here. Stephanie, our treasurer, had dealt with them. Updated pricing, current agreement. Yeah, I really don't know.
You know what, Pam, can you just send an email to Stephanie and just CC us and ask her the difference between those
Yeah,
two?
I don't have that information here. I just have that they came back with the lowest
So difference
bid.
between fixed offer and. Yeah, no, it's fine. You just send her an email, she can CC.
Yeah,
all of
she
us.
got, Stephanie got this pricing for us this afternoon. And, I don't know the difference.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Okay. So if anybody has any other questions, let's get them all together now so we can ask Stephanie and then. So we want to know the difference between the fixed and the fixed capacity pass through. Anything else? Okay. So then, we will table this to the next meeting and we'll get a, clarification on that. The difference between the fixed and the fixed capacity.
Yeah. If anybody has any more questions in regards, just piggyback on the email that
Yeah.
Pam sends out.
Okay. Okay. I had a couple of things. I just wanted to remind everybody that this week is September 11th and we will be having our, remembrance ceremony at 8:30 right here in front of the Village Hall, in front of the 9/11 monument. Please join us. It is a brief ceremony. It's not a long ceremony, but it's important for us to remember. So we like to take a few minutes on that day. September 21st is our yard sale from 9 to 4. Thank you, Pam, for sending out, yes. For sending out the forms. I know I got mine at my house, the registration forms. They're also available online and here. And, there is a rain date of the 22nd this year, so I don't know what, that's kind of far out to look at the weather, but hopefully we'll get a good day. And then just a reminder for everybody, the bulk pickup is the 28th this year. It used to be like the day right after the yard sale. This year it's not, it is the 28th. So please don't forget. I also wanted to let everybody know that our Safe Streets grant was submitted. We talked about that at the last meeting. We are trying to get some grant funding and, we did submit that. So thank you to Sarah and, Ginny for helping to put that together. We have a fall festival coming up on October 19th. That is going to be at Sarah Taylor Park. And it's from 3 o'clock until sunset. There will be fireworks. So, thank you, Central Hudson. Right?
Send the letter then? We'll talk about.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we definitely having fireworks.
All right.
And let's see what else. Oh, October 27th, we have our Halloween parade and, costume contest. The lineup is right over here on Bedford, go down Main Street. And that is October 27th.
What time is that? Like.
That's at 1 o'clock is the parade. I think the lineup starts at maybe like 12:15 or so.
I think it was 12:30.
12:30, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, okay, this is from the Hudson Valley Rugby Club. they wanted to tell us, let's see, September 14th, they're having a double header with men's and women's teams. Both of the teams will have separate games. So they wanted to extend an invitation to anyone within the village. It's a family, fun, friendly event, and we would love to have you all there. So that's awesome. They've been great. They've been a great partner over at the Sarah Taylor. So if you're free, I'll tell you, it's very interesting to watch.
I also want to say that my daughter plays rugby at Siena College, and she dropped into 2 of their practices.
They're awesome.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
They were so welcoming to her. She's like, this is so cool. It's right, like, in our little village.
Yeah.
There's rugby. So you don't see a lot of it.
No.
She said they were really, really nice, and she had a great time.
Yeah, they're lovely people, and it is so cool to have them there. It really is. Let's see. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna take this so then I can, yeah. Okay, do you have anything, Nick?
I do not, but I think this is pretty cool that what they did, rugby club, the timeline and schedule, they talked about how they came in for the shed, installed the shed, and how it's working out. Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. You don't, the sport is huge everywhere else, but here it's not, and it's gaining some traction. So
yeah,
it's fun to have it right here.
especially after the Olympics now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I just, I really like having them here, and also the Hudson Valley Football Club too. And like I said at the last meeting, I love the idea that they put on some free clinics for our kids here in the village. I think that's great, so. Did you have anything, Anthony?
Yeah, so we have, coming up on, September 18th through September 22nd, the county sponsoring the traveling Vietnam Wall and Wall of Remembrance. So it's being delivered on the 18th. The opening ceremonies is 5 to 9. It's open 24 hours, so veterans or their families can go anytime to the park. Sometimes it gets emotional, so it can be overnight. But the bulk of the ceremonies will be from 9 to 8. Taps is at about 7:50, 8 o'clock. There's different ceremonies. There's military vehicles. There's the walls from 9/11, World War II, World War I, all the other various conflicts, Vietnam, of course. There's military vehicles. The wall will then be dismantled on the 23rd, about 8 o'clock. So it'll be a whole week of, this is the first time that I know of, and I believe that Adam confirmed that the county has hosted the wall.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a pretty powerful
Where's the
event.
location?
So it's Bowden Park.
Oh.
So in the town of Poughkeepsie, it comes in the morning of Wednesday, the 18th. We'll set it up, ceremonies at 5 o'clock, and then it's straight through from the Thursday to Tuesday morning.
Wow.
Different events and stuff. I was actually there talking to them today. It's gonna be the lower baseball field at Bowden Park. She said it's gonna be remarkable, like really something to say.
Yeah, they'll have a trooper helicopter, I think will be there on Saturday. There's going to be different presentations and ceremonies. There's gonna be a video presentation. They have different military vehicles. And of course, the wall itself, it'll also be lit at night, which I think will be, and with the flags there too. So I think it'll be a powerful event. Also on the library front, so we had our Blodgett Library Day going back a couple weeks, the end of August. We had about 480 community members, kids and families. Coming up on October 2nd is Coffee with a Cop at 11 a.m. at Dunkin' Donuts near Walmart. October 5th is Back to School Bluey. I guess this one is popular. My kids are much older now. So, I don't know. But Julie says it's popular. Bluey, based on the program 130. October 6th is Bobbing for Donuts. I think that'll be kind of cool. 1:30 taste testing for a variety of donuts. October 25th, Something Strange in the Neighborhood Halloween party at 6:30 p.m. And this is a lot of different things that they do at the library itself. And then, of course, the 2 events that you had mentioned, Mayor. And then I think we talked about our last meeting. Are we coming up at the next meeting for the cannabis law and the moratorium? Is that going to be prepared or waiting from Sarah? Okay, all right.
When is Bluey?
Bluey is October fifth
Okay.
at 1:30. Keep uppy, dance mode, and grannies.
Boom. I don't know what any of that means.
Neither do
but-
I.
You know, you know.
I was gonna say, if you're in, right?
Louis shows.
And did you have anything?
No, NICOM next week, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And, that's all I have for right now.
Does anybody from the audience have anything? Any comments? Yes?
Yes, how do you want me to handle, the next application here, because I was questioning, Lisa McComb is interested in joining the planning board. And I told her that, she would submit a application and a resume to me, but evidently there's no application forms for the planning board.
Well, not yet.
Oh.
We were working on putting together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, yeah, have her submit, you know, a letter of intent.
So I'll just hang.
What,
Application process gets straightened out.
well, I think what the mayor said is have her write a letter of interest
Right.
and submit that with a resume to the mayor, right? Or to Pam, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So we fine tune what.
Until we
application
fine
to-
tune our application.
Right.
I am working on
Agreed.
some language.
Yeah.
already,
And that'll be good because we have other boards too, so we're gonna probably
Yeah.
weave them all into one
yeah,
application.
one big volunteer.
Yeah,
application.
and I think that'll be great. Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
You're good? Okay. All right, everybody's good? Anything, Greg? All right, so I will entertain. a
Nothing,
motion
Dave?
to adjourn.
I was gonna mention that South Sewer, we did the startup today, there's a couple bugs, but we got them pretty much worked out, so. Within the week, we anticipate sending flow from South Sewer to the sewer plant. Which probably doesn't mean anything to anybody, but it means that we won't be sending it to the town of Fishkill who builds it.
Yes.
It's money in our pocket,
Thank you.
which is what was designed to pay for the sewer plant itself, so I just wanted to give you, I was actually pretty excited about it, I just came from over there.
Only
It's been a long-
only a water sewer guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Would get
it's lumpy
excited.
water.
It's
I'm
lumpy
excited
water,
about
right?
lumpy water, yeah. So, it's good news.
Thank you, Dave.
All right.
Okay, motion?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
You.
All right, I'm gonna take the.
Dave loves